Hello, this is Yash from Demystified. Through this lecture, we're going to demystify linear functions, a simple yet quite intricate type of function in geometry. Before we learn about linear functions, we will need to know the general meaning and mechanism of a function. A function is something when given an input, it spits an output. You can think of a function as a machine. For example, one machine may double the quantity of an item that's being inputted into the machine. If I feed one chocolate bar into the machine, it'll give out two chocolate bars. A mathematical representation of this would be f of x is equal to 2x. F of x stands for function of x. X is the input of this function. X can be any number as it's a variable denoted by the letter x. If x is equal to 3, then our function will look like this. F of 3 is equal to 2 into 3, which is obviously equal to 6. By inputting 3 into our function, our output is 6. Graphing lines on a coordinate plane works in a similar manner as a function would. The main premise of all graph functions is that for an inputted value of x, the value on the x-axis, you get an output of y, a value on the y-axis. Linear means straight line. So, linear functions are functions that graph straight lines. But what defines a straight line? Visually, a straight line is a line that doesn't curve or bend. Mathematically, an equation graphs a straight line if the degree of x is 1 or 0. But what do I mean by degree of x? Basically, I'm just stating that the exponent of x should be 1 or 0. X squared would graph a curved line because its exponent is neither 1 nor 0. There are an infinite number of linear functions that can be graphed because the Cartesian plane extends to infinity. But here's the question. What are the different factors that differentiate a linear function from another? In other words, what differentiates this linear function from this one? To understand this, we need to decipher the general formula for a linear function. F of x is equal to mx plus c. Some people write y instead of fx, but they mean the same thing. In a graph function, your output is the value on the y-axis. So you can use y and fx interchangeably. Anyway, let's go back to the formula. We already know that x and y denote the coordinates of points that lie on the line. But what's m and c? Look at these two graphs. What's the difference between these two graphs? Well, the second one is steeper than the other. The measure of steepness is denoted by the letter m. The mathematical term for this is gradient. As the value of m increases, we see that the line becomes steeper and steeper. A vertical line would have a gradient of infinity. As m decreases, the line becomes less steeper. When m is equal to 0, the line is completely horizontal. We see a similar trend for negative values of m. When m decreases, the line becomes steeper. When m increases and becomes closer to 0, the line becomes less steeper. And of course, when m is equal to exactly 0, the line is horizontal. So what's the difference between a positive gradient and a negative gradient? It's the orientation of a line. The positive gradient line goes from the bottom left corner up to the top right corner of the graph, while the negative gradient line goes from the bottom right corner up to the top left corner of the graph. Now that we understand what a gradient is, we need to know what c means. C is the y-intercept. A y-intercept is the y-coordinate of a point at which the line intersects the y-axis. This will be easier to understand with an example. This is a line which intersects the y-axis at the point 0, 2. The y-intercept will be the y value of this point, 2. Hence, our y-intercept for this line is 2. If we're given a graphed linear function and tasked to find the equation of the line, we can easily identify the y-intercept. But how do we calculate the gradient of this line? Before we go further, we need to understand one of the Euclidean postulates. A unique line can be made by joining two points. Basically, this postulate states that from two fixed points, we can only make one unique line by joining them, meaning no two lines contain the same points. This provides us a great segue to our gradient formula, y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. This may sound like gibberish right now, but basically we're picking 2 points on the line and then taking the differences of the x coordinate and the y coordinates. The subset numbers just represent the respective coordinates of the first and second point. Let's try to calculate the gradient of this line. Personally, I take the points where the line intersects the y and x axis, but you're free to take any points. For this example, however, I will pick the 2-axis intersection as my 2 points. Next step is to label these points. My first point is 0, 1, and my second point is 3, 0. Our final step is to plug in these values. First, we plug in the values from our first point, and then from our second. So we have 0 minus 1 over 3 minus 0, which in the end gives us negative 1/3. This is our gradient. If you want to find the y-intercept, just locate the point where the line intersects the y-axis, 0, 1, and then identify the y value of this point, which is 1. So the final equation of our line would be y is equal to minus 1/3 x plus 1. Some of you may be wondering why y and x don't have a specific value. This is because it's a function. X is the unknown input and y is the respective unknown output. So x and y remain unchanged. We've derived the equation of a linear function from seeing it graphed on a plane. Now let's try graphing the line using a linear equation. Let's assume that we're tasked to graph the following function, y is equal to 3x minus 1. According to one of the Euclidean postulates, we can graph a line with just 2 points. Personally, I take 0 and 1 as the 2 x coordinates because it's easy to compute. However, you can choose any 2 unique values. Let's start by plugging in 0 as x. 3 into 0 is 0, minus 1, that's minus 1. Therefore, our first point will be 0, minus 1. Next, let's plug in x as 1. 3 into 1 minus 1, that's 2. Therefore, our second point will be 1, 2. If you've watched my previous lecture, you will be familiar with plotting these ordered pairs on a graph. Our final step is to join these points, and voila! We have successfully graphed a linear function on the Cartesian plane. That concludes the lecture on linear functions. This was a bit longer than usual, but there's a lot of information to take away from this video, so it's important to spend more time to grasp the entire concept. If you've enjoyed this lecture and learned from it, please click the like button. Make sure to subscribe as you'll be notified when I update this playlist with more lectures. If you want to provide any feedback or suggestions on how I could improve these lectures, please mention it in the comment section below. It will really help me. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next lecture.